All right, so before you start updating the Google Business Profile for yourself or for your clients, you got to watch this video because I'm going to talk about some things that you need to know before you do that. All right, so let's start. Hey, my name is Paul Kim, and I help consultants, agencies, and beginners get their next high-level client or their first by focusing on the fundamentals before you even start implementing AI and automations. All right. So in today's video, as I was about to go into my client, our newest client's Google Business Profile, and I was going to go ahead and update the information, I thought this would be a great video for me to tell you that before you even go in there, there are a couple of things that you need to verify before you go and start updating. Okay. So the first one is, I'm going to go over them one by one. The most important part is name, address, and phone number, what they call NAP, right? So, and that is really Google's, I guess, ID, I guess you call it. But so name, pretty much the business name. Now, this particular one, the address, right? This is what I would do to verify the address. I mean, to some, this particular business was in a complex with other businesses. And so that's why it's a little bit, I won't say difficult or complex, but you just have to be very meticulous. Like every single letters or characters is very important when it comes to the address. Okay. So in this situation, when you're looking for an address, I would use the United States Postal Service. Go to their website, go to USPS.gov, and then go look for a tool called Find, I think look up a zip code or something like that. And then you're going to go to Find by address. And so once you're there, type in the address, the specific address, and see what the United States Postal Service use as an address, right? And then once you get that address, then verify it by going to Google Maps and then looking for that address. Now, in this particular case, what happened was they were using another address, right? And so Google Map was not associating the address they have, right? So if you look at my screen right now, I did a Google search on Google Maps for that specific address, and you can see there is a suite number 3, and that suite number 3 is where they're located. And so right now, Google Maps is seeing no business in that location, but they're the ones that are in there. So I had to go and update the address, and then I had to go and associate that location or that address location to the business. And so I'm going to go back in the next couple of days or maybe next week to make sure that it's associating that business with that location. So I hope this makes sense. And so it's important to, this is, the reason why a lot of sometimes businesses don't show up is because Google and Google Map is not associating they're not connecting the dots. Okay. Phone number is the next one. So the phone number that was on Google Business Profile for this particular client was different from the one that was on their website. And so I have to go back to the client. I think I know what it is. The phone number on the website, because it's a website agency that's handling this, and they're I'm not sure what they're thinking. They're probably thinking tracking it for how many calls are being made through that tracking number. But if it is used, if the other agency is using that phone number for tracking purposes, then I have to figure out how to deal with that, because I have to make sure that Google associate this business with a specific phone number, right? And that is one of the important things that you need to be aware of when you're doing local SEO. All right. Next one is categories, right? This is where some businesses or some agencies may in this particular situation, they were overstuffing it with categories, secondary categories that were irrelevant to this business. And so you want to make sure you're very picky when it comes to specific categories. What is the primary and secondary? And so the tool that we like to use is Bright Locals tool. And if you see, we use that to look at other competitors and looking at other categories that they're utilizing. And so we use that as a basis to figure out which categories to go for, depending and in consultation with the client. All right. So that's another factor that I guess you need to consider when you're picking these categories, right? And so there is some thought process that needs to be involved in here. So you need to make sure of that. Okay. All right. So next is, and the last one that I'm going to talk about today in this video is service areas. Now, as you can see from the image that I'm sharing, this previous agency, or this agency that my client was using, just put in these, if you look at the top, it shows 3 counties. This is too broad of a range or a area for you to put, especially when you're working with local businesses. You have to be very specific and go down to the town level, and you have to list all the towns that the specific business is going to be working. They call service areas. And so we went in there. A perfect tool for you to use is possibly ChatGPT. Is to go in there, put in ChatGPT. I am, trying to do local SEO for this specific type of this business, and they're in this specific industry. They're located in this town. What town should they put into Google Business Profile? And it's going to spit out some towns, right? And Google Business Profile, you could put up to 20 categories, or 2 towns. 20 towns. And so, but do not rely on ChatGPT. What I would recommend is, and this is where I think at the end of the day, being local to your clients is very helpful, because you know the area. I know the area for this specific client. And so I know which area is good and which area is bad, depending on that client. And so this is also, you have to work with your clients to come up with these service areas as well. All right. So those are the things that you would need to know and verify, and before you start going and updating your Google Business Profile. And if you don't know these things and you're just going in there randomly, you're not only doing a disservice to your clients, but basically that's what they're paying for. And if you're not doing your job, you're doing a disservice. All right. So anyway, all right. So I hope this video was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you think that video is good. I'm going to be doing more of these videos where I am basically, as I'm going along and helping my clients, I'm going to be documenting the stuff that I do along with you, so that you can also learn from them as well. All right. So if you have any other questions with regard to Google Business Profile, put your questions below, or better yet, join my community and ask in the community. All right. In the meantime, if you want to go check out my my previous video, which I did, gives you a full breakdown of the step-by-step on how to set up Google Business Profile. Check out this video coming up.